Hello, I am Mr. Henrik from Henrik Academy. Now I'm going to discuss about an important topic in basics mathematics, that is nature of a quadratic equation roots based upon its coefficient. On my previous video, I have discussed regarding nature of a quadratic equation roots based on its discriminant. So different between discriminant and coefficients. On a quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c, this is x, equals 0. The coefficients are a, b, and c. A is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x. Meanwhile, c is the coefficient of constant number. Okay, let's get started with the first nature. The first nature is A equals C. If coefficient A equals coefficient C. So the implication, the quadratic equation roots are reciprocal each other. Reciprocal, it means if x1 equals A over B, for example, A over B, so x2 will be B over A. That's the understanding of reciprocal. So opposite x1 is opposite of x2, or x2 is the opposite of x1. Now I'm going to show you quadratic equations to prove this theory, to prove this sentence, this conclusion. For example, if a quadratic equation 2x squared plus 5x plus 2 equals 0. So we can determine A equals to this one, A, B, C. B equals 5 and C equals 2. Look at A equals C. Okay, A equals C. 2 equals 2. So coefficient x squared equals coefficients of constant number. So now I'm going to show you the roots of this quadratic equation. So I would like to determine the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. It will be 5 squared minus 4 multiplied by 2, multiplied by 2 as well. So 25 minus 16 equals 9. Okay, 9 is a perfect square number. Okay, square root 9 equals 3. 3 and positive 3. Now, x1 and x2, we can determine through this formula minus b plus minus square root d over 2 multiply a. So it means x1 and x2 equals minus 5 plus minus square root 9 over 2 multiplied by 2 because a equals 2. So it will be minus 5 plus minus 3 over 4. And we can determine x1. x1 equals minus 5 plus 3 over 4, while while x2 equals minus 5 minus 3 over 4. So x1 equals minus 2 over 4, and x2 equals minus 8 over 4. And next, we can simplify this becomes minus half and so 1 x2 plus minus 2. This is x1. Now look, that x1 is reciprocal of x2. That x1 equals half of x2. So reciprocal. This is the understanding of reciprocal. Just now I told you that if x1 a over b, so x2 equals b over a, the opposite of x1. Next, if the second nature is b equals 0, b equals c equals 0, we can state that the quadratic equation's roots are 0. So x1 equals x0, x1 equals x2 equals 0. Okay, so x1 equals 0, x2 as well equals 0. For example, if there is a quadratic equation 3x squared, if 3x squared plus 0x plus 0 equals 0, actually these equations we can state as 3x squared equals 0. This is a quadratic equation without b and c, or a equals 3, b equals 0, and c equals 0. So b equals c equals 0. Okay, now let's be proof that they will have roots. Okay, x1 equals 0, x2 as well equals 0. So d equals b squared minus 4ac. D equals 0 squared minus 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 0 equals 0 minus 0 equals 0. Okay. Square root 0 is 0. So next, x1 and x2 equals minus b plus minus square root d over 2a. It becomes minus 0 is 0, plus minus square root 0 over 2 multiplied by 3. It is 0, of course, over 6. So x1 equals 0 over 6 equals 0, and x2 equals 0 over 6 also equals 0. So that's why the conclusion told us or informed us that x1, if the condition like this, x1 equals 0, x2 equals 0, or x1 equals x2 equals 0. It has roots, only one root, this quadratic equation, and the root value is 0. Okay, next, the third theory, the third nature. The third nature says that if c equals 0, so the quadratic equation roots are 0 and minus b over a. So if c equals 0, the quadratic equation has two roots, okay, 0 and minus b over a. For example, if there is a quadratic equation 4x squared plus 9x equals 0. So it means a equals 4, b equals 9, and c equals 0. So we can determine discriminant. I need more space. Okay. So discriminant equals 9 squared minus 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 0. And it equals 81 minus 0 equals 81. So x1 and x2 equals minus b plus minus square root d over 2a. And it's going to be x1 and x2 minus 9 plus minus square root discriminant 81 over 2 multiplied by 4. Okay, so it is minus 9 plus minus 9 over 8. That means x1 equals minus 9 plus 9, minus 9 plus 9, I mean over 8, while x2 equals minus 9 minus 9 over 8. So x1 equals 0 over 8, and x2 equals minus 18 over 8. It is 0, and this one minus 9 over 4. Okay, x1 and x2. Recall that the quadratic equation, wait, the quadratic equation is 4x squared plus 9x equals 0. This is A, this is B, and C equals 0. Look the conclusion, x1 and x2. In my previous, in third nature just now, I told you that the quadratic equation will have roots 0 and minus b over a. So prove that the roots are 0 and minus b over a. This is x1 equals 0, and this is x2 equals minus b over a. Proved. Thank you, students, for joining with me in this lesson. If you have any questions, you may email me, you may request me several topics which I can explain you, discuss about that topic you want to I create the video, the lesson. Thank you for joining in this lesson. Bye bye.